Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Bhukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. Okay, so with Bhagwan's grace and Puja Gurudev's blessings, we will now enter into chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita. So let us start and we will see what happens in this chapter. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Again, repeat after.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Panchamo Adhyayaha.
Atha Panchamo Adhyayaha.
Karma Sannyasa Yogaha.
Karma Sannyasa Yogaha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
We'll just have Padmini ji repeat. Yeah? Sannyasam Karmanam Krishna.
Sannyasam Karmanam Krishna.
Punaryogam cha shamsasi.
Punaryogam cha shamsasi.
Yatreya etayorekam.
Yatreya etayorekam.
Tanme bruhi sunishchitam.
Tanme bruhi sunishchitam.
Now we'll chant together. Everyone can chant in your homes. Arjuna Uvacha Sannyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shamsasi Yatreya etayorekam Tanme bruhi sunishchitam. So first we will see what Arjuna's question is. This chapter is called Karma Sannyasa Yoga. So if we see the trend, what has happened? Chapter 3 is Karma Yoga. Chapter 4 is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. And chapter 5 is Sannyasa Yoga. So chapter 3 is all about the yoga of action, and that we saw extensively. Chapter 4, we saw the renunciation of action, but through knowledge, right? So there's also that karma sannyasa there, but through knowledge. But here now, it's called karma sannyasa. So literally it means the renunciation of action. So what is Arjuna asking here? Arjuna says here, sannyasam karmanam. There is one path which is the renunciation of action. Sannyasam karmanam. Krishna, punaryogam. And there's another path. Yoga here means karma yoga. So one is the renunciation of action. One is the participation in action, dedication of action. So there's two paths here. Cha shamsasi, you are praising both of this. Yat shreya, that which is better. Etayo, between the two. Yat shreya, that which is better between the two. Ekam, that one. Tat me bruhi, you tell that to me. Sunishchitam, conclusively. So he says, renunciation of actions, O Krishna, you praise. And again, yoga, performance of actions. Tell me conclusively which is better of the two. So how did Arjuna get to this question? First, we will look back at chapter 3 because some people get confused. Some people get confused between the question in chapter 3 and the question in chapter 5. So the question in chapter 3 is, it says this. Arjuna asks Sri Krishna, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. What Arjuna asks is, in chapter 3, I'm saying, he says, now you keep telling me that knowledge is superior. You keep praising the path of Sankhya Yoga. You keep praising it. But then you are telling me to do Karma Yoga. So you are praising one and you're telling me to do Karma Yoga. So Arjuna said, I'm really confused here. What is it that you want me to do? So, Arjuna enters this confusion. And he says then in the second verse, again, he says this word Shreya. So he says that which is Shreya, that which is good or the highest, I may attain. So you please tell me what to follow. So Sri Krishna's answer to that was, Karma Yoga is a means to Sankhya Yoga. So there's no question of which path to follow. It's not a question of either or because one has to do both. You have to do Karma Yoga to get to Jnana Yoga. One has to do the yoga of action to get to the yoga of knowledge. One has to do both. And we all start from Karma Yoga. Therefore, there should be no confusion, O Arjuna. Take up Karma Yoga and eventually this will take you to Jnana Yoga. So this was very, very clear. Sri Krishna brought out to Arjuna. Now, the question is different. The question is not about Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. His question here now in chapter 5 is, I'm talking about this is Jnana Yoga and this is Karma Yoga. So to go to Jnana Yoga, we need Karma Yoga. But Arjuna said, I also recognize there's a different way to go to Jnana Yoga. There's a different way to go to Jnana Yoga. What is that way? Karma Sannyas. There's another way called Karma Sannyasa. Karma Sannyasa means renunciation of action. It's also called Vividisha Sannyasa. So literally, if you see, it is the path of taking sannyas. So, in our tradition, there is the path of becoming a sannyasi, a sannyasini. There is that path. In also other traditions, there is a path where they become monks, nuns, ascetics, like that. So to get to knowledge, to get to Jnana Yoga, one can go through it through Karma Yoga or through Karma Sannyasa. So now Arjuna is seeing two things. And where did he get this idea? Where did he get this idea about Karma Sannyasa and Karma Yoga? Because in chapter 4, if you see, there were beautiful verses in chapter 4, verse 21 and 22. In verse 21, he says, he describes this person who was renounced, Nirashir yata chittatma. That person doesn't have any hope or any expectations from the world. That person has a self-controlled mind. Tyakta sarva parigraha, and is left possessions, nothing to call their own really, they withdrew their possessions. They have just limited their lifestyle to a great extent. Shariram kevalam karma. They only do what is required for the maintenance of the body. So whatever the body needs to eat, eat, sleep, sleep, walk, walk, not much. Whatever is required for the body, that person does. So this person, kurva napnoti kilbisham. Though they do, it's like they don't do. And how did they get to this state? Is because they had some kind of sannyasa. They renounced the word. And then in verse number 22 of chapter 4, same thing. The one who is a sannyasi, how do they live? Yadricha labha santushtaha. Means whatever they get, they're completely content with. It comes, okay. It doesn't come, okay. There was one person, this sannyasi. He was walking. He had long hair. So walking. So he was going this way. So everybody asked him, so where are you going? He said, I'm going this way. Why are you going this way? Oh, because, the wind is blowing this way, so my hair is going back. So therefore, I'm going this way. If the wind blows in another direction, I'll also go in another direction. How beautiful is his life? Not just wondering. Guruji says very beautifully, if you have nowhere to go, then you'll never get lost because there's nowhere to go, right? So yadricha labha santushta. Dvandva pita vimatsara. One goes beyond the pairs of opposites and beyond envy. So Arjuna has heard this, he heard this about this sannyasi, and he has a tendency to be fascinated. We all have a tendency to be fascinated when it comes to sannyas. We're like, oh, I also want to take sannyas, right? Especially sometimes, in marriage, sometimes they'll be like, oh, I wish I took sannyas, or when can I take sannyas, or why can't I take it now? There is that desire inside. But let me tell you also, it's true for the opposite. For those who have taken to the path of sannyas, some of them also feel, I wish I got married. Why didn't I get married? So the doubt could go both ways. So there is a fascination for sannyas. And Arjuna has this fascination for sannyas because we already know that he's about to fight this war. He doesn't want to fight it. And although Bhagavan Krishna told them 100 times, do karma yoga, do karma yoga, do karma yoga, you cannot run away from your dharma. Still he's saying, is there a chance? Is there a chance? I mean, you keep talking about this sannyasi. Is there a chance that I could also go? And so this doubt is in Arjuna's mind because he heard about this sannyas. Then at the end of chapter 4, Bhagavan Krishna says, Atishta Uttishta. Atishta means take refuge in Karma Yoga. And then Jnana Yoga and go Uttishta, do your duty. So Arjuna says, again, I'm confused. Because I'm hearing such lovely things about Karma Sannyas. And then you're telling me to engage in Karma Yoga. Then what should I do? What should I do here? So he says, Yat Shreyaha, that which is good for me, why don't you tell me that? So now one has this doubt, Arjuna has this doubt. Where should I go? What should I do? And he says, Tat me bruhi. Now the best thing about Arjuna is that he has Sri Krishna. And he always seeks advice. Because what do we see from chapter 4? Samshayatma vinashyati. Right? The one who has doubt will surely perish. So here, he tells Sri Krishna, you tell me what is for my ultimate good. And if you notice in chapter 2, he has also used the same language. Yat shreyasyat nishchitam bruhi tanme. So Arjuna's gift is that he's always going to Sri Krishna. He's always going to Sri Krishna. When there's a doubt that he cannot solve, he goes. So this question now becomes very clear. Very, very clear. This question is not about somebody who has knowledge. It's not about somebody who has gained knowledge. Because for them, what is the vision of life? The vision of life is Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir. We saw in chapter 4. The vision of life is Brahman is everything. Brahman is everywhere. And there is only that one truth that manifests as this entire world. So the vision of the one who has knowledge is very clear. So here we're not talking about the one who has knowledge. Here we're talking about the one who's striving to get knowledge. The one who is striving to get knowledge, should they pursue karma yoga or should they pursue karma sannyas? What should they pursue? Now, what is this karma yoga? Just a little bit of a recap, because somebody had asked this question last time. What is this karma yoga? Karma yoga, now in other words, he's asking, shall I take up grahastha? Shall I take up the householder path or shall I take up sannyas? Karma yoga is this path where we divinize each and every action. There are two key elements to karma yoga, which we have already seen before. One is Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. Ishvara Arpana Buddhi means that we dedicate every single action towards the divine. In chapter 9, it says, Yat Karoshi, Yadashnasi, right? Whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever we give, whatever spiritual practices we practice, anything that goes on in our day, tat kurushva madarpana. We offer it to Bhagavan. We offer it to that higher being. So one aspect of karma yoga means whatever it is I'm doing, it's for Bhagavan only. What do you mean it's for Bhagavan only? I'm not doing it really for Bhagavan. What if I'm not really, that inclined with bhakti and I don't see it as for Bhagavan? Then whatever I do is for moksha. Whatever I do is for enlightenment. At least we can see it in that way, that everything that I do is for enlightenment, for moksha. Or everything I do is to better myself, to develop myself. So one aspect of karma is centering ourselves, all of our thoughts, words, and actions in Bhagavan, in that truth, in self-development. The next aspect of karma yoga, we know, is prasada buddhi, having the ability to accept whatever comes, be it up or down. And this will come in the next few verses. So those are the two key elements for karma yoga. If I am able to make God or make the truth the center of all of my thoughts, words, actions, and if I am able to keep a balanced state of mind throughout, remember this prasada buddhi is throughout. In the beginning of the action, I'm balanced. In the middle of the action, and at the end of the action, I'm balanced. If we are balanced only at the end of the action, it doesn't work. You cannot only have prasada buddhi at the end of the action. The beginning itself, we have to be very even-minded and say whatever happens will happen. Only if we're like that in the beginning will we be like that in the end. So this is very clear that this is karma yoga. And karma sannyasa is very clear, is that it is renouncing the world. It is renouncing possessions, renouncing family, renouncing relationships, renouncing all experiences, to just solely focus on the pursuit of knowledge. So both are aiming towards knowledge. One is doing it through karma yoga, one is doing it through karma sannyasa. So now, which is better? Which is better? Arjuna asks that question. So now let us see what Bhagavan Krishna says. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sannyasa karma yogascha.
Sannyasa karma yogascha
Nishreyasakaravubhau
Nishreyasakaravubhau
Tayostu karma sanyasat
Tayostu karma sannyasat
Karma yogo vishishyate
Karma yogo vishishyate.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyasakaravubhau Tayostu Karma Sannyasat Karma Yogo Vishishyate. Now, Sri Krishna answers. Now, always keep in mind that when Sri Krishna answers, he's answering to Arjuna. So many times we read books and everything and we say, oh, this person said this, but to who? So we have to always see said what and to whom. Then we'll understand what the implications are. So Sri Bhagavan says, Sri Krishna says, sannyasa. One is the path of sannyas. What sannyas? Karma sannyas. When? Before knowledge. So all of this should be clear in the mind so there's no confusion. Karma yoga. Karma yoga, that also the whole chapter 3 is karma yoga. So sannyasa and karma yoga are there. And he said, Nishreyasakara ubhau. Ubhau, both of them, Nishreyasakara. They lead to the highest bliss. What do you mean they lead to the highest bliss? So here, very, very beautiful, in the commentary, it says, Jnanotpatti hetutve ubhau. Means both karma yoga and karma sannyasa, both lead to the attainment of knowledge. Why? Because with both paths, the mind gets purified. So therefore, don't worry, Arjuna, because both of them are ways to purify. Sometimes people in Grahastha, they feel like, oh, what do I do here? I don't know if this is okay, if this is okay to stay in this ashrama. It's absolutely okay. And chapter 5 is the proof of it, that both are ways to purify. And in fact, we will go through how Grahastha is a very, very beautiful way of purification. We will see what Sri Krishna says, and then we will go through how Grahastha and Sannyasa are beautiful ways to purify. So he says both can do the work. Tayoho tu, but between the two, karma sannyasa, then karma sannyasa, karma yoga vishishyate. Karma yoga is better. For who? Arjuna. So Sri Krishna says, renunciation of action and yoga of action both lead to the highest bliss. But of the two, yoga of action is superior to the renunciation of action. Karma yoga is superior. Now, why would Bhagavan say such a thing? Right? Because we normally think that that sannyasa is superior to karma yoga. But why would Bhagavan say karma yoga is superior? Let's see now the third verse, and he explains why karma yoga is superior. Verse number 3. Nyeyasa nitya sannyasi.
Nyeyasa nitya sannyasi.
Yo na dveshti na kankshati.
Yo na dveshti na kankshati.
Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho.
Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho.
Sukham bandhat pramuchyate.
Sukham bandhat pramuchyate.
Nyeyasa nitya sannyasi. Yo na dveshti na kankshati. Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho. Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. So what does he say here? He says nyeyaha. Nyeyaha means it should be known. What should be known? Saha nitya sannyasi. That karma yogi is a nitya sannyasi. Oh, nitya sannyasi, a karma yogi is a nitya sannyasi. Who yona dveshti na kankshati, the one who doesn't hate nor desires. Nirdvandvo, the one who is beyond the pair of opposites. He mahabaho, O mighty armed. Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. They easily are set free from bondage. So he says, karma yoga, the karma yogi should be known as a perpetual sannyasi, nitya sannyasi, because they neither hate nor desire for anything, and they're free from the pair of opposites, and they're easily set free from bondage. What happens with karma yoga? What happens with karma yoga is it's a foolproof method. Many times we like to jump ahead of the game. We like to jump ahead of the game, and we like to just live our lives. We get to Jnana Yoga and we say, okay, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, this is what I'm going to do, and this is the path I'm going to follow. But our mind lacks purity. Our mind lacks this chitta ekagrata, this focus, this concentration. Our mind lacks that. So no matter how much we sit in class, no matter how much knowledge we feel that we gain, we feel uneasy, we feel unstable, we feel like, I don't know what's happening to me. So this is because it's a lack of preparation. It's a lack of preparation. When we don't spend enough time to prepare ourselves, then that knowledge cannot be digested. It's like when you try to make chapati. You're making chapati, you're making roti. Now you have to do so many things to get that roti made. You have to take the atta, beat the atta, and then you have to knead it, and then you have to roll it, and then you have to toast it. You have to do so many things to make that chapati. If you just take the dough and eat it, we're going to get indigestion, right? It doesn't work. So in the same way, that mind is like a chapati only. We have to take it. We have to really, get the atta. We have to knead it. We have to roll it. We have to cook it. We have to do so many things with this mind so that Atman is able to eat it. You have to do so many things with this mind. So the most foolproof method that we see in so many of our scriptures is this method of karma yoga. So karma yoga is that foolproof method because sukham bandhat pramuchyate. One can easily, sukham here, sukhena means easily be free from bondage. Because when we go through the practice of karma yoga, a maturity is attained, an equanimity of mind is attained, a detachment is attained, and easily one glides into Jnana Yoga. So he says, Karma Yoga is Vishishya. It is special. It's very special. It's better. For who? For Arjuna. Because it will prepare the mind to a great extent. Now the question comes here is, so what if one has knowledge, one has Jnana Yoga, right? Let's say one has gone through Jnana Yoga, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, and slowly everything's starting to become clear. What should one do? What should one do at that point? That I'm going through Jnana Yoga and everything is slowly starting to become clear. What do I do now? What to do now is our life always must have 3 spiritual practices. Always. And I'll tell you exactly until when. 3 spiritual practices. The first spiritual practice is that karma yoga. We don't have to be engaged in a social service to do karma yoga. In our very own homes is karma yoga. In fact, in our very own homes is the toughest karma yoga. It's the toughest karma yoga. So one is everyone must be engaged in karma yoga. Two is everyone must be engaged in bhakti yoga or raja yoga. There has to be a practice for focusing and concentrating the mind. This is non-negotiable. Otherwise, knowledge will not stay, because we will not have the focus to penetrate deeply into it. Knowledge must be gone through to a very, very deep extent. And we cannot do that with a scattered mind. So we must have a practice of japa or a practice in Raja Yoga. That's non-negotiable. And three is we must have a practice of Jnana Yoga, self-inquiry. So daily in my life, these three have to be there. Karma Yoga to in and through. Jnana Yoga through listening to something or reading something. And definitely Bhakti Yoga or Raja Yoga. And through japa or other contemplative exercises. And you see very, very beautifully, this is the three instruments: body, mind, intellect. Karma Yoga is predominantly done with the body. Japa, etc., predominantly done with the mind. And Jnana Yoga, predominantly done with the intellect. So daily, these three have to be refined if we are serious about this path of knowledge. So the idea for seekers is, yes, if we are continuing to engage in Jnana Yoga, we must have these three practices all the time, all the time. Now, a question comes, when do we drop these practices? When do we drop these practices? The answer is we don't drop these practices. They drop themselves. That's why Puja Gurudev says it's a self-unfoldment. It's a unfoldment, like a flower. It blooms, it unfolds. We don't ever drop them by ourselves. Naturally, they will fall. Just like, let's say one used to be very extroverted, wanting to go out to a lot of parties and gatherings and everything and meet a lot of people. Now, one doesn't force themselves out of that. Just in time, the taste is not there anymore. The taste to go out is not there anymore. So naturally, one sort of spends more time with themselves, or spends time with a few close people who they really like, or spends time with family, but naturally they withdraw. In the same way, naturally all of these go. They go when they have to go. And some of them don't go. Some of them don't go. Because the idea is for Jnani, when one has attained that state of enlightenment, then they are the non-doer, right? Who's Jnani? The non-doer, the one who is the actionless self, aware that they're the actionless self amidst all actions. So even if karma yoga is happening, they are the actionless self. Even if bhakti yoga is happening, they are the actionless self. And even if jnana yoga is happening, they are the actionless self. So therefore, if we have proper foundation, which is karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. Karma yoga is the biggest foundation we can get. It's the biggest blessing. It's the biggest blessing when we are able to serve. That's the biggest blessing. Then bhakti yoga and jnana yoga. When one is prepared, then it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, like we saw in chapter 4. A matter of time, one gets it when one gets it in such a way that they never forget it. So that is why he says, karma yoga vishishyate, because of this very reason, sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Easily set free from bondage means it's not hard. It's a natural process. Now, what else about Karma Yoga? Why is it greater? Because in Karma Yoga, it's a field by which we can gain all of these qualities that can help us, abide in Jnana Yoga. And all those qualities also that are required for Karma Sannyas, they are in Karma Yoga. So the people who are taking Karma Sannyas, they have to have done Karma Yoga. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So all the things required are gained in Karma Yoga. It is the field by which all qualities are gained. What qualities are there? Here, Yaha nadveshti nakangshati. Nadveshti nakangshati. Nadveshti nakangshati means that no hate and no want or no craving. See, when one lives in a grahastha ashrama, one has to come to a point where there is no anymore, one has to go above and beyond all raga dveshas. All likes and dislikes, one has to go above and beyond that. Because what we usually hate sorrow. We usually hate sorrow. We don't like sorrow. We don't like something that's not conducive to us. We don't like something that may disturb us. And then we also hanker. We also crave for something that makes us happy. We crave for something that gives us joy or pleasure. And so we spend so much of our time just running away from things we really don't like and pursuing things that we like. This is what happens. But in Grahastha, in this ashrama, what's so beautiful is that it is an ashrama where there's constant rising above one's ego. Constant rising above one's ego. So what happens? We start out as very selfish people. Very, very selfish. All of us. We go through college, we get a job, and all we're thinking about is which apartment shall I settle in? How much money am I making? Where's my next vacation? I want this flat screen TV. Very, very selfish. Then when the person gets married, now what happens? The ego has to be crushed. Because we cannot just think about ourselves. One cannot just think about what I want to do, what I like, where I want to go. Now, two has become one. Or that one, now one is two people. One is two people. So less and less of my ego, less and less of what I want, less and less of what I don't want. I cannot think so much about myself anymore. So then it lessens to a little. Then what happens when a couple has children? Again, it has to shrink. Then forget about it. Erase your likes, dislikes, where you want to go, what you want to eat. Forget about it. Because the whole thing is just about the children. The whole thing is about the children, about what is best for them, which is the best, where do we stay, which is the best school for them to be in, which is the best place for them to be in. All of that is there. So again, it's being reduced to that. So that ego, when one gets married, gets reduced. When one has children, that gets reduced even more because you cannot think about yourself so much. So this karma yogi is known as somebody who nadveshti nakangshati. Eventually what happens in true karma yoga is that one rises above likes and dislikes because they have given up so much of their ego. They have let go of their ego. And these are the exact qualities that are needed for karma sannyas and that are needed for knowledge, not so many likes and dislikes. Why are they needed? Because likes and dislikes pull our attention into different directions. Then, nirdvandvaha. What else happens in householder life, in grahastha ashrama? What else happens? What happens is one has to keep balance, go beyond ups and downs. How many times have parents, I've seen also my parents do this. Something really terrible has happened, but in front of their children, everything is okay. They'll do everything. They will get up, they will do whatever their dharma is, on and on, constantly, everything will be perfect. We won't even know what's going on inside of them. They rise above their emotions. There's tides above them, there's pain, there's anger, all things are going on, but not a single lapse in their duty. This happens there. Nirdvandva. So here you can see these very qualities, nadveshti, kankshati, nirdvandva, they are formed in this beautiful ashrama of grahastha. They are formed through this process of karma yoga. So everyone would have had to go, everyone has to go through karma yoga. There is no exception. And if we find some saints or sages, how is it that they've gone straight to jnana yoga? In their past lives, they must have done karma yoga. Because this purification of mind is an absolute necessity. And therefore, here it says, Nitya Sannyasi. The karma yogi is called a Nitya Sannyasi. Why Nitya Sannyasi? Because when that karma yogi's goal is only moksha, only to pursue moksha, then that karma yogi is Nitya Sannyasi. So therefore, Lord Krishna says, Arjuna, for you, what is best is karma yoga. For you, right here and right now, what is best is karma yoga. Okay. Now here, there is a question. How can an ajnani take karma sannyasa? Because karta bhava is not falsified. So wouldn't the very action of renouncing action also mean that the person is doing the karma of renouncing, right? So ajnani can take karma sannyasi because the karta bhava is not falsified. So for this reason, they can take sannyasa. Ajnani, the one who does not have knowledge of the self, they can take karma sannyasa to pursue knowledge of the self, right? Because their doership is still there. So somebody who's in the realm of ignorance, whose doership is still there, they can take karma sannyasa in the sense to renounce from actions to get on the path to pursue knowledge, solely pursue knowledge. That is allowed for ajnani. So that's clear? So this karma sannyas is for the one who does not have knowledge yet. Now the question can come is that, let's say somebody has taken karma sannyas and on the way they have gotten knowledge. That's okay. That is fine. But what happens in the beginning is there is a renunciation. There is a karma sannyas that's taken. And that karma sannyas is taken because that person wants to solely focus on the pursuit of knowledge. So when a person feels that I just want to focus on this knowledge and I don't want to do anything else, when a person feels that genuinely from their hearts, the Shastra says, Yad ahareva virajet, tad ahareva pravrajet. The day that one has that much yearning and that much dispassion, then go, leave. So for those ones who feel that way, karma sannyasa is the path. For the ones that feel like, yes, I want to pursue this knowledge, but I also want to have a family, and I feel that this having a family, serving society, I feel like this is the best way for me to unfold, then have a family, no problem. So both this karma sannyas and karma yoga, both of them are ways to gain jnana yoga. And then again, as I said, some people will say, oh, but I wish, I did this. I wish I did that. Don't wish anything. Wherever we are is exactly where we are meant to be. Exactly where we are meant to be. I also used to wish sometimes that I wish I did all of this when I was much younger. I felt that, I started too late in the game. But then I rethought about everything. And I realized that everything happened exactly at the right time. Everything happens exactly at the right time, exactly at the right place, under the exactly right circumstances. So no mind should say, I wish I was there, I wish I was here, No, you are where you are. I am where I am. We are where we are. And it is the most beautiful place to be. The most important thing is wherever we are, use it to purify. Use every single opportunity to purify. So then one question arises that if one is not purified first with karma yoga and takes karma sannyas, it may lead to tamas. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Exactly what happens is that they end up sleeping a lot. So let's say one takes karma sannyas without karma yoga, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. And many have seen it. We have seen it. Because the mind is unprepared. So what happens is lots of tamas. They feel like they only want to engage in jnana yoga, shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam, and this is all they want to do. Okay, sit in jnana yoga. But the problem is there's so much tamas, so much sleeping too much, eating too much indiscipline. All of this will be there in their lives. Why? Because they don't want to pursue karma yoga. Why? Because they feel like it's action. But this is absolutely wrong mentality. Absolutely wrong. Because from tamas, if there is tamas in us, that means we are definitely not ready for karma sannyas. First, get that tamas to rajas. Put it to work. stop, all this indiscipline. Put it to work. And then from that rajas, then when one comes to sattva, when one comes to karma sannyasa, that karma sannyasa will be so beautiful. So incredibly beautiful. So there's a danger there. We have to be careful. Okay. Now we go to the next, fourth verse. Sankhya yoga pritak balaha.
Sankhya yoga pritak balaha.
Pravadanti na panditaha.
Pravadanti na panditaha.
Ekamapyastitas samyak.
Ekamapyastitas samyag.
Ubhayorvindate phalam.
Ubhayorvindate phalam.
Sankhya yoga pritak balaha. Pravadanti na panditaha. Ekamapyastitas samyak. Ubhayorvindate phalam. So here he says Sankhya yoga. So this sannyas and yoga, pritak balaha pravadanti. Pritak balaha. Balaha, children. Children here means those of immature understanding. Pritak. They feel like it's different. Pravadanti na panditaha, but not the wise. Ekam api astitaha samyak. Even if she, whoever he may be, is established in one, ubhayoho vindate phalam. They obtain the fruits of both. So children, not the wise, speak of Sankhya and yoga as distinct. He who is truly established even in one obtains the fruits of both. So this is exactly what the verse earlier was saying. That both karma yoga and karma sannyasa are both leading to knowledge. They're both leading to knowledge. To say that they're different, one is going here, the other is going there, that's only talk of immaturity. Bala pravadanti. Immaturity saying that this is better, that's better. The truth is, wherever my mind is, wherever's fit for my kind of mind, that is better. It is, it doesn't make sense to talk about this one is better, that one is better, this one is better, that one is better. Very clearly, Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, for you, karma yoga is better. So for us, we have to look at our minds and say, okay, which one is better? And that's what we follow. And the Panditas, the wise ones, know that. The best thing to do, it's not that this path is better than that path. The best thing to do is follow where our heart is. If our heart sincerely feels prepared for a certain path, go for it. If the heart sincerely wants another path, go for it. But go where we naturally gravitate towards. Because, as we said, spirituality is an unfoldment. It's not meant to be done out of force. It's not meant to be done rashly. And he will also say, coming up, why we shouldn't rush into anything. And so when one gets established in one gains the fruit of both. How? Because same things are being cultivated. Same things are being cultivated. We saw that nakankshati, not wanting, not hankering over things, na dveshti, not hating, not running away from things, equanimity of mind. All of those things are being cultivated in both. And therefore, ubhayor vindate phalam. Now, let's just look at this with respect to our lives. So now I have given you what Shri Krishna has told Arjuna. Now, what should a seeker do? All the things we've seen. What else should a seeker do? So, one I have said is a seeker, let us say a seeker, all of us are seekers seeking liberation. One is, if our goal is moksha, if enlightenment is our goal, if that's where we want to be, then the first thing is practice karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, jnana yoga. That is the first thing that we need to do. The second thing is keep practicing it. Keep practicing it. We feel like sometimes, we've been practicing it, but it's not yielding results. I'm not getting any results. See, results also take time. Somebody was doing japa for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They said, oh, nothing happened. I said, of course, nothing happens in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It takes years. It takes years. So don't say, I've tried this practice and it's not working, and I tried that and it's not working. It takes a lot of time. And just because we're not seeing external results, that doesn't mean there aren't internal results. When a plant is growing, underneath, you cannot see the roots. We cannot see the roots. We cannot see how the plant is growing, but it's growing, isn't it? So the second thing is that it takes time. So keep doing it. Keep doing it. Charaiveti, charaiveti. Now, but as I said now, the third point is how long? It will drop off naturally. If it drops off, it drops off naturally. Then what is the attitude of the jnani after some time? What is the attitude of jnani? The attitude of jnani is that karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga are so natural to them, so absolutely natural to them, and they live in that awareness that they are the actionless self. So even the doer of Karma Yoga, the doer of Bhakti Yoga, the doer of Jnana Yoga, that has been renounced. So for our spiritual life, keep all of these things in mind. And keep in mind that wherever we are is the best place. And just use that to purify to the best of our abilities. If we do that, then we are taking Sri Krishna's message to heart. So for today, we will stop here. There is more to this verse, but we will see that next week. Okay? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. If anybody has questions, you can stay back.